large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Callum Doyle's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their Southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted the life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, I'm slow, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out the third row on a 2x2 grid, Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Bearman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4, while Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to surge into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold on a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broadhead fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal of the season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Callum Doyle's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their Southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted the life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, I'm slow, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out the third row on a 2x2 grid. Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Behrman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4. While Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to surge into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold on a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broadhead fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal of the season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Then Callum Doyle's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their Southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, I'm slow, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out the third row on a 2x2 grid. Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Behrman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4, while Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to surge into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold on a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broderick fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal this season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Then Callum Doyle's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out a third row on a 2x2 grid, Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Bearman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4. While Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to sail into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold in a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broderick fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal this season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Then Callum Doyle's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out the third row on a 2x2 grid. Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Behrman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4. While Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to surge into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold on a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broadhead fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal of the season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Callum Doyle's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their Southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out the third row on a 2x2 grid. Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Behrman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4, while Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to surge into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold on a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broadhead fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal this season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Then Callum Dole's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out the third row on a 2x2 grid, Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Behrman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4. While Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to surge into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold on a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broadhead fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal this season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Then Callum Dole's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid relegation from the Premier League. He's overseen 4 consecutive defeats, including 3 in the Premier League, in a dismal start since he succeeded Thomas Frank on the 14th of February. He said it's not an easy situation, not an easy moment, a big challenge to change things. Like everything in life, you can choose to see how the situation, you can cry or you can fight, you can be the victim or you can change something, he said. Elsewhere in cricket, fast bowler Mark Wood has admitted life after cricket is in his thoughts now as he recovers from his latest injury. If it doesn't go down well, he said, there is options for him to move forward. He returned to Test cricket in the Ashes series after 15 months out with an elbow problem followed by a knee injury. He returned to bowl just 11 overs in the first Test, which England lost inside 2 days. He then missed a second with swelling, subsequently ruled out. He told the tail end of the podcast, it's real slow going the stage I'm at in my career. It's quite a fine balance. If I push it too hard, then that could be it. 6 weeks blocks, not day by day, specialists and rescans every 6 weeks. He went on to say that life after cricket is now starting to enter his mind. Elsewhere, Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli became the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula 1 history by leading teammate George Russell at the Chinese Grand Prix. Russell ended up 0.222 seconds adrift of the Italian after a race against time to solve a gearbox problem that threatened to leave him 10th on the grid. Mercedes managed to repair Russell's car just in time to get him out for a final lap, and he managed to sneak ahead of Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. McLaren locked out the third row on a 2x2 grid. Oscar Piastri ahead of world champion Lando Norris. Alpine's Pierre Gasly took 7th ahead of the troubled Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar. Britain Oliver Behrman secured the final spot of the 10 for Haas. Elsewhere in Rugby League, Wakefield Trinity fought back to win a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby with Leeds Rhinos, while Super League leaders Wigan Warriors made short work of Bradford Bulls in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the scores in the end, it was 24-14 to Wakefield. Wigan beat Bradford 30 points to 6. In tennis, Anya Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina will meet in the final for a third time in just over 4 months at Indian Wells on Sunday. Sabalenka eased past Czech Linda Noskova 6-3, 6-4. While Rybakina saw off Ukraine's Elena Svitolina 7-5, 6-4. Elsewhere in golf, Ludwig Erberg shot a sublime 9 under par, 63 to out into the halfway lead of the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass in Florida. He's now on 12 under par, 2 shots ahead of Xander Schauffele. That's all in for the latest headlines. We'll have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with football, and Wrexham strengthened their hold on a place in the Championship playoffs with a win over fellow Welsh side Swansea at home. They won 2-0 on Friday night. Nathan Broadhead fired the host ahead midway through the first half with his 8th goal this season across all comps. The Swans dominated possession for large periods, but eventually they were unable to capitalise. Callum Dole's header went in off Liam Cullen late on to ensure the Red Dragons sealed their bragging rights over their Southern Welsh counterparts. They've now opened a 6 points gap over 7th place Southampton, who go to leaders Coventry on Saturday. Elsewhere in football, and Igor Tudor said his players can either cry or fight as they seek to turn around their dire situation and avoid
in what is turning to be a really exciting playoff race. They know they need the points as well. It's a tall order for the Saints, but a win today could help close that gap on 6th place Wrexham. They can't afford for those playoff positions just to pull away further from them.
You're spot on with that. It's so tight at the top, isn't it? Millwall almost just creeped up on the top two as Will was saying. Currently, of course, Middlesbrough with that live 1-0 draw, getting a point, I should say, 2 points above Millwall, but of course Millwall still to play this afternoon. Saints have had most of the possession early on, nodded forward by Zaza. There will be a foul there by Downs, and it will be a free kick for Coventry just inside their own half. Looking at the head-to-head, Saints, no losses in their last 8 against Coventry, although in terms of their form this year, Coventry are the better side. 5 wins and 3 draws in that time. Coventry haven't beaten Southampton since April 2008, my word. How long ago that was. That was, we see a lot of players debuting that were born after that most of the time off the bench. So Coventry haven't had it their way in modern history against them, but at the same time this season Coventry of course have been, as you said, the real force in the Championship, and everyone goes through those blips, but we will spot on. Apart from that blip, Coventry have been absolutely fantastic, and to a degree, because as you rightfully said, it's been such a tight playoff race, no one was able to take advantage with Coventry's slip up. Middlesbrough did their best to get up there, but there's still a decent amount off, and of course, as you said about the blip in form, I'll bring Will in a moment, as that's a poor pass out from the back, intercepted by Grimes in the middle. Mason Clark holding off his man there with ease. Bree and Coventry will go back. It was almost at their dip in form, and then they beat Middlesbrough, was it 3-1 at home, and that kind of turned the tide. It woke them up again almost, didn't it? So I felt if Middlesbrough would have won that, you could have seen maybe the tide turn. Here comes Van Uwijk on the right-hand side, ball into the box. Mason Clark there gets it all wrong. Don't know if the sun was in his eyes, I'm not too sure there. That was poor. It was a good piece of play though from Coventry, as they're still going to come forward into the penalty area on the Ekers. Goes down a little bit too soft there for the referee, and I assume our liking as well. But all those Saints have had a lot of possession. Decent attack there from Coventry.
Yeah, really promising attack. It was that lovely ball to the right hand side for Van Uwijk. Had acres of space to put a ball into the box, and for me, Mason Clark just isn't brave enough. He knows there's a little bit of a double up job on him by Bree and Harwood Bellis, and he just pulls out of the header for me. He doesn't commit as much as maybe I would have liked him to see him, and because he pulls out, he gets his angles all wrong. It skews off the top of his head, and in the end it's quite comfortably cleared by Southampton. But it needs to be a bit of a wake-up call that for the Saints, because there was a lot of gaps to exploit there for Coventry.
Yeah, it was just a 1-2 between Van Uwijk in the middle and Onyeka. Nice little easy pass down the right-hand side. It was very easy for Coventry to get in behind the visitors, and you spot on there, that's how quickly Coventry can go from, right, you can have possession, once we transition and attack, we are very dangerous. That's why, of course, they are at top of the table. Coventry do just have the ball with Rushworth just outside his own penalty area, approaching 6 minutes into this game, still goalless at the CBS Arena. Again, other games in the Championship kicking off early. Middlesbrough, Bristol City and Oxford United, Charlton. We've got no goals elsewhere in the EFL. We've got Lincoln, Stockport, Rotherham, Bolton in League One. One ball forward here looking for Mason Clark, led away by Breen, not the greatest of clearances. And League 2, Harrogate, Salford and Notts County against Chesterfield. But the linesman's flag has gone up anyway, so nothing to worry about there. No goals anywhere in the Championship, League 1 or League 2. Usually in these half 12 to do sometimes get a... It take a while to get going, don't they? But as with a lot of games, you see one goal going elsewhere, then another one pops up. So maybe it takes about 5 minutes. It takes the first half. You see one bob in, and the rest then just tend to follow suit. So far in the game, we haven't had a shot yet. It's just been a bit of possession and a bit of a feeling out process. On the forward by Manning, it's nodded away by Kitchen. Lost though in the middle there by Grimes, and won, if you will, by Yander. Bree has it on the right hand side, but he's been forced back. Howard Bellis touch there. He plays almost a blind reverse pass to his goalkeeper. Maybe Hadji Wright was a little bit more alert. He could have stuck a leg out, got there. Not too sure. That's a poor pass though from Malin. Onyeka picks it up, plays it to Eccles. I thought he was going back to Graham, instead goes back to his centre back. And at the moment, this is why it's a top of the table clash, of course, isn't it? Almost feels like a boxing match in the opening 7 or 8 minutes of just that feeling out process from either side.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Neither side wanting to commit too many bodies forward at this early stage. They don't want to commit any errors that could be exploited by the opposition. You need to be really smart of when you look to pull the trigger and when you look to try and exploit those gaps. Try and just hold your shape and try and work and ease your way past the opposition in these early exchanges. There's plenty of time. You don't need to throw the kitchen sink just yet.
No, you spot on there. Down the right hand side comes Southampton, ball into the box. De Silva wants a goal kick, and I do believe that is where he will get it. It was a ball down on the right hand side from Matsuki. Must have taken a double deflection as it is given. Oh no, apologies, the linesman has given the... He looks so confident there. De Silva has even conned me. So it will be a corner for the Saints and a first set piece of the afternoon.
Yeah, first set piece chance for the big boys of Harwood, Bellis and Stevens to come up into the corner, or into the penalty area I should say. They've got the joint second most amount of goals from corners this season, Southampton, alongside Coventry, Derby, Middlesbrough and Wrexham on 11. Sheffield United leading the way on 12 with that statistic. So both these sides know what it takes to score from corners. So it'll be a bit of a difficult battle from a defensive perspective here for the Sky Blues.
100%. It doesn't shock me that Sheffield United are at the top of that list. But as you say, one from either side this afternoon could result in them going top into the back post. He's put into a good area. Larin's there. Awkwardly falls for him, takes a good touch on his chest. It's an absolutely packed 6-yard box and penalty area. He does his best, he drags it a little bit wide. It was Matsuki just unmarked on the edge of the penalty area and just makes his way in. Quite clearly one cliche off of the training ground. He puts it back into a good area, and then Larin, he just never really catches it.
No, he loses his footing at the worst possible moment. He chests it down, and I'm not sure if he can argue there's an element of a pull from Onyeka. I don't think there's enough in it for a foul for me, but even with how difficult of a chance it is for Larin, I think he'll be disappointed with himself that he hasn't at the very least maybe scuffed an effort on target. The fact he's put it wide might frustrate him a little bit. It's a good opportunity that for the Saints.
Oh, well, as soon as that ball comes in from Matsuki, you think, can you get it back into an area? He does exactly that, and it's almost right. It's up to his teammates from there. So that's the real first half chance to a degree in the game so far. It goes away with the Saints, and of course, you were just saying about how dangerous they are from set pieces. That just proves it. And proves how creative they can be as well from set pieces. Woolfield then has it. It's been pressed down, been hounded down there by Yander in the middle of the field. Goes out for a throw in though on the right hand side. Looks like we might have had our first goal of the afternoon across the EFL. We'll get full confirmation in a moment. But looks like Lincoln have taken the lead against Stockport. That's an important game at the top of League One. Very similar to what this one is. De Silva cuts inside, takes his man for a run in Matsuki. That goes into the middle too on Onyeka. He's been impressive since signing on loan in the winter window. Himself and Grimes have made a really good double pivot in the middle. It's one of them with Onyeka coming in from Brentford. You know all the skills he has, but when Brentford are doing so well, I can imagine it's hard to get in that squad. He's come down a division and at the top of the division as well, and showing how good he can be. Good play there from Mason Clark. He's taken down. There's a clip of the heels there from Brigg. Looks like he might have even caught a bit of a nasty one, if you will. Can imagine it might maybe off the back of the ankle, maybe down the Achilles there. Just watching it back. It's just on the lower left calf, lower left Achilles. I think it's actually more from Matsuki there. He's watching it back. That's a great angle to all go like we just did there, because that's the first time we've really seen it there. It's one of them, is it Matsuki? If he puts a little bit of weight up, but then he obviously pulls back because he knows what he's doing. He doesn't want to injure his player. But then he almost nearly rolls his ankle as well. And nearly nasty one there for the winger.
You'd probably have to say, if that was a Premier League foul with VAR, that probably gets looked at by the officials to maybe award a red card. I don't think it is a red card tackle, but it is such a nasty one down the ankle, and thankfully Mason Clark is okay to continue. The free kick hasn't amounted to anything. It will actually be a free kick now for Southampton after a push in the area, but Mason Clark very fortunate that he's come away without a more serious injury. Also going back to that goal that we thought was happening in League One, Lincoln have taken the lead at home against Stockport County. The goal scorer there for the hosts is Jack Moylan.
Like we said, maybe one goes in. We'll have to see how the rest of the games, almost without knowing, react to that first goal in the EFL. 12 minutes on the clock here at the CBS Arena. It's Coventry 0, Southampton 0. Independent off-tube studio commentary of the Saturday afternoon clash in the Championship. Sunny CBS Arena as well. It's been a lovely, quote-unquote cliche, as you would say, lovely weather to play some football in. Azaz has it down the right-hand side, takes it past Grimes. Referee might have given an advantage, not too sure. Matsuki will pick it up though, puts his head down, gets past to Silva, whips one into the box, takes a wicked deflection off the fullback, and there'll be another corner. From that side. Southampton going from right to left, so it's from the far side, if you will, from our broadcast position, and it's another opportunity for Ryan Manning to swing one in.
Yeah, another good opportunity here for the Saints. You'd probably say in the opening 12-30 minutes that we've had, they've probably been the better of the two sides. They've got forward more often than the host. Granted, maybe have had less possession than the host, but they are looking very dangerous. And, well, with the way this game has started, I wouldn't want to predict which side is going to take the lead here, and I don't think this game is going to end goalless. I can see both sides getting on the score sheet today.
No, I'd 100% agree with that. They've both got such a attacking talent. Manning puts it into a good position. If anything there, Howard Bellis, and I want to say Downs, almost got in the way of each other there, because you could see the number 6 of Howard Bellis trying to get in a good position, and then there was a Coventry defender along with Downs, and I think he just runs into him. If anything, it's almost like an NBA screen of one was going to go, and I just think that maybe got the hairs crossed and a bit of miscommunication there.
Yeah, it's Wolfenden in the box for Coventry that does well to standing ground, such a tall, imposing figure inside the box, and he just refuses to move. He's a brick wall in the centre of the area there for Coventry. He makes sure Downs can't move towards the ball and utilises both his body and Downs' body to ensure that Bellis can't get around him to get the header on as well. Really good defending in the end there by the Coventry number 26.
Yeah, really smart defending as well. As you say, Coventry though, back on the ball just outside their own penalty area. Again, just having a quick look at the stats in terms of possession. It's just about over 50% for Coventry, but as you said, it feels like a little bit more than that, if I'm quite honest. Both teams have had a shot, neither on target though, neither testing the goalkeeper. Wolfenden on the ball now. Into Van Uwijk, trying to get forward at every attempt, but all forward for Haji Wright. It's a poor one, picked up by Bragg. It's first go back to Manning. It looks like as well it's more of a 4-3-3. I'm not saying it's... I thought it might be a 4-2-3-1, but looks like Bragg, Yander and Downs a central flat three. Matsuki's on the right, on the left Azaz, leading the line of Klaus Larin there. Mason Clark not happy that that's been given as a foul, and didn't really, maybe he's wanting to give a bit of a receipt maybe to Matsuki after the rake down his left boot, if you will. It was there on Bragg instead, and is that, I know we're only 15 minutes in, is that a little bit of a push, a bit of frustration perhaps?
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, it's what we expect from Mason Clark over the course of this season. The Championship, he's earned as many fouls as he's given away. He loves a battle on that left-hand side, and there you could argue he's given away 2 fouls in the space of one. He's ragdolled one Southampton man off the ball and then just barged into Matsuki as well. So it was always going to be a decision that went against him. But yeah, he hasn't had the rub of the green so far. A lot of Coventry's best play has been coming down the opposite wing. It just hasn't really worked out for him. for him so far.
No, it hasn't. You're right, and as you say, that Ryan Manning down the left trying to put a ball into the box. It's cleared by Wolf and trying to be kept in play by Van Jewick, but he knows how to play for a throw-in on the left-hand side for the Saints. You've got Ryan Manning on the left-hand side as ours. That's a dangerous duo to have out wide on the left-hand side, whereas Bree and Matsuki, two very good players, but maybe not as good as the other side, if you will. Azaz pokes it through into Larin, loses it, but he's pressing and hounding down Grimes there. De Silva plays it forward to right. Lovely first-time pass to Eccles. He looks to his right-hand side, looking for Sakamoto. No one's there, but then he plays it long to right, puts it into a good area. It's well defended by Stevens, but the linesman's flag goes up anyway. So even if Wright would have come over the ball, would have been in an offside position. And that's a little bit unfortunate because Sakamoto was doing his defensive duties, but you see Eccles get the ball, he takes a touch and he wants to quickly play it out there, and he almost goes, oh, my right winger isn't there, what can I do? And then unfortunately Wright obviously just isn't in the right position because he's not expecting the pass and a little bit offside, and at the moment he's not really getting the rub of the green either. He's right, not many chances created for him.
No, he can't really get into that space to try and take on Peretz in the Southampton goal. He hasn't had the required service. All the possession he's getting is either in the middle of the park or deeper than you would want to see him. But still plenty of time to get him involved. There is another goal in the EFL to tell you about as well. Chesterfield have just taken the lead away from home against Notts County. Armando Dobra getting the goal for the visitors there.
So we've got goals in League 1 and League 2. We're just waiting for the Championship to give us something. Southampton playing out from the back very dangerously, but that's one of them again where it works out brilliantly, and Southampton also do well to win a foul there, win a free kick against Kitchen. Larin doing well, some great hold-up play. Ball over the top, hint of offside, but Rushworth comes out great. Alert sweeper keeping. Wolfen then about 15 yards away from his own penalty area, he nods it back. Really strong header back to Rushworth, and it's back into his arms, but he could have seen a mistake there. That's quite clearly what Tom Dreckert, though, wants his side to play out from the back. Got a bit of PTSD from last year, Southampton, waiting for a mistake because we saw them so many times doing that. And unfortunately, look, maybe Championship quality, if that's a Premier League side, they do make you pay. But I feel the Southampton side, they do have that much of, we do want to do that, but we're not overly right. They will go long if they have to, they will change it up. Fewest touches this matches. Sakamoto, Wright and Eccles, free out their front four with 1, 2 and 3 touches. Eccles will get his fourth there into Onyeka. Sakamoto will get his second and third. He does well, he gets away from his man Azaz, but he does bring him down. Referee's just going to calm things for the moment. I don't think it's yellow card, and it's one of them where, because of how Azaz goes in, looks a little bit worse than what it actually was.
Yeah, it's forceful. I don't think it's necessarily a dangerous tackle. I think he keeps his studs down. But there's now a few of those sort of, I don't want to say angry tackles, but aggressive tackles coming in from both sets of players. I think this could be quite a difficult afternoon for Farai Hallam, and I can only imagine the cards will begin to be shown should those tackles begin to get out of hand.
No, I think you're right there. A feisty affair, isn't it? Because there's so much tension in the air between the two sides. Southampton, you spoke about earlier about in terms of you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to make a mistake early, and whether it's early or late, you don't want to concede a goal or concede a chance through a mistake. If Southampton play some good football past Coventry and score, well, that's fair enough. If you make a mistake, and that's why the tension's in the air, isn't it? Mason Clark winning a free kick once again, as you said earlier. We're loving a battle on that left-hand side. Frank Lampard barking out orders for the moment. 19 minutes on the clock, approaching 20 minutes played here. Still goalless, but it's been a good affair so far. Lovely ball from left to right to Van Jewick. Not the first time he's got down the right-hand side. That's defended well, though, by Manning that time. I'll just clear his lines into Grimes, who nods it down from Onyeka. It's a poor pass, and it's a poor header from Downs, and Grimes picks it back up. Kitchen out to De Silva. Usually he's up and down that left-hand side as well, and he is, but maybe not as much as Van Jewick down the right-hand side. De Silva. Grimes dinks it over the top. He'll make his way to Mason Clark. Eccles is over there to support as well. Though he feels he's got a one-on-one here against James Breen. I think he'll like his chances. He'll swing one into the box. Sakamoto's there at the back post. Might have taken a flick off of his head. But I will say by Peretz's reaction to go and get the ball, might have even taken a nick off the Southampton man there. That was a decent ball in. I just think Sakamoto, he's actually a good header of the ball from what I've seen when he does head it, but obviously not the stature of maybe a Haji Wright, if you will.
Yeah, and I think because of his diminutive stature, he was always looking to be second best to win that header. Sakamoto, he does well to just about get there before Man Manning, but he's being so tightly marked. It was never really going to be likely that either he would completely beat Manning to get an effort on goal, and if he does get an effort on goal, to get the required power to beat Peretz from that range. I think it does take a nick off of the fullback, which is why Peretz is so desperate to ensure it doesn't go out for a corner kick. But finally, a little bit more life from Coventry, and Mason Clark did so well on that left-hand side just to dig out that cross, got the better of Bree, really for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, it's first time as well he got a one-on-one, isn't it? So I think that's why I probably went, you know what, Eccles is here, yes, but let me have a go at my fullback. Let's see what he's all about. We'll see, about a minute there of, yes, Peretz kept the ball in play, as Will said. He had it at his feet almost for about 40 seconds, and he's booted it long, and they have won a throw-in of Southampton, so they've made their way up the pitch slowly, if you will. Be Manning to take, it's about halfway into the Coventry half on the left-hand side, and Manning's probably got a few more yards out of it by walking further forward. It's headed away by Kitchen, but one in the middle by Yander, who's forced to, after a decent little press there from Coventry, go back to Harwood Bellis. To the right side to Matsuki. Downs trying to keep possession for the moment. Southampton do look very, I mean both teams, as we'll say, they look very confident on the ball, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just, again, I'm just so used to seeing Southampton overplaying a little bit. Bragg tries to play a ball from left to right, takes a deflection though off his midfielder and his teammate Yander, finds it to the feet of Mason Clark. They get back well, Mason Clark still going, driving into the penalty area, puts a lovely ball, I think, into the box, but there is no one there in a sky blue jersey. If I'm Mason Clark, I'm looking at Wright, I'm looking at Eccles, I'm looking at Sakamoto going, why has no one made that run there?
Yeah, that's a brilliant bit of play by Mason Clark, and it's a perfect ball across. I just don't think any of his Coventry teammates are actually expecting him to make that ball. It looks like he's running into no man's land with how he's being doubled up by both Bragg and Bree on that right-hand side. He does so well to beat the latter, and it's a perfect ball in. If any man in sky blue is there, surely that's our opener.
Yeah, if that's had you right running on to Eccles, as you said, really anyone in an attacking area, you think that's 1-0 to the sky blues. Here comes Mason Clark again, dinks it into the box, headed away that time by Harwood Bellis. As Az drops back to pick it up into Yander, he's going to turn away from his man Larin. He's got an opportunity here, high line from the Sky Blues. He's got a one-on-one against Kitchen. He's all on his own though, he'll have to go on his own, fix it on his right to his left. It's well defended, and they've got players back there. I've got to feel for Larin because I also don't think he made a decision. I don't think he knew what he wanted to do, but he had no support either.
No, he was completely isolated. I think if he's aware earlier on that he has got no support, he probably takes the shot early, but he tries to do too much to try and maybe hold it up and work the space. It just doesn't pan out for him, and in the end he's just doubled up by both Kitching and Wolfington. Really difficult centre-back pairing to try and break through. He beats one, but there's always going to be support coming, and it was Wolfington just to tow the ball away.
He's really well watching the replay as well. He goes right to left on his run, doesn't he? That opens it up, and I think, as you say, he's always probably in his mind that I might have to go for a shot here, but also probably thinking, well, if I can hold it up for a few more seconds, maybe my teammates might come up, and then he almost does that fake, if you will, onto his left. It's a heavy touch as well, which means that Wolfenden can come over and just take the ball off him, really, and take a deflected shot in the end. But, as you said, maybe if he just knows his teammates are going to get there, maybe he just takes a touch on his favoured right boot on the outside, goes for a fizzing, low-driven strike. We'll never know, but that was an opening, half a chance, if you will, for Southampton. We've played just over halfway into the first half, approaching 24 minutes on the clock at the CBS Arena. It's Coventry 0, Southampton 0, independent off-tube studio commentary of this championship clash, and to take us through to the half-time whistle, pass you over to Will.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Hopefully I can provide the opener for this contest, as Mason Clark brings the ball down on the left-hand side, does well to beat Matsuki, but he does well to recover as well, the Saints man, and he has been fouled by Mason Clark in the process. That will be a free kick for the Saints. In fact, Matsuki lost his boot in the process there, so I'll have a little bit of a stoppage whilst he gets his boots back onto his feet. There is not exactly another goal to tell you about, but it is our first red card of the early kickoffs. It's come between Notts County and Chesterfield, and the hosts. A bad half has gone to worse, as Oliver Norburn has been sent off. 2 yellow cards in the space of the opening 20 minutes has meant that he has been shown his marching orders there. Still no goals in our game, no goals in fact in any of the Championship early kick-offs, including the games between Middlesbrough and Bristol City and Oxford United against Charlton. It was a goalless between Rotherham against Bolton in League 1, Lincoln leading against Stockport by 0-0, and in League 2, obviously you know that Chesterfield are leading 1-0 at the 10 Men of Notts County. It's also Harrogate 0, Salford 0 as the other early kick-off in League 2. Flynn Downs has possession on this near left-hand side, and he has his pocket picked by Van Uwijk, who will bring this ball forward. It's a poor ball, though, by the fullback, passing it straight out of play for a throw-in for the Saints on this near left-hand side. Wait for this throw-in to be taken, and it's going to be Ryan Manning. He'll be the man that will take this for the Saints. Not much in the way of movement ahead of him. Eventually finds support in Azaz. Oh, that's a nasty tackle there by Flynn Downs. Just trying to use his body to shepherd and protect the ball away from Frank Onyeka. But in doing so, he stamped right on the top of the foot of the man formerly of Brentford, on loan, of course, from the London club. And I think he's maybe a little bit fortunate to avoid a yellow there.
Yeah, it's not malicious, is it? Because he's just trying to win. He sees the ball, doesn't he, coming? But it is a little bit, I'd say, lazy, if you will, that he's just sticking his leg out there. And that is a painful one, isn't it? As you say. And once again, to a degree, if that is VAR, I think there is at least a look at it, as you said earlier about the Matsuko. We're not saying it's a red card, but definitely a look at it, because it's a painful one. And if that's a little bit higher, you're probably looking at a red card as well, maybe.
Yeah, he's letting a lot of these decisions go at the moment, is the referee, Thurai Hallam. Still, we had to show a yellow card in this contest. I know he's trying to marshal the game, make sure it doesn't get out of hand, but there's maybe an element where your hand begins to be forced, and there's a couple of challenges now, Flynn Downs and Matsuki, that we've seen where, at least in the Premier League, chances are that would have been a yellow card at the very least. As Wolfenden has possession for Coventry, deep inside their own half. He'll go back towards his goalkeeper in Rushworth, who will take his time, bringing the ball out of his area. Lovely crossfield pass to find Van Uwijk, who's got space to drive into here. Sakamoto to his right. Here is the number 7 for Coventry. Van Uwijk digs out a cross, and it's Jack Stevens that's there to poke the ball away. And then Onyeka, rather hopefully, went in for the tackle against a Southampton man, got far too much of the ball and sent that straight out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think the Southampton man pulls out, doesn't he, seeing Onyeka, and he goes, right, you're just going to boot this out. But that's lovely play down the right-hand side. As I said, we haven't seen that link-up play too much with Sakamoto and Van Uwijk, and it's a good ball into right. It's just well defended in the end, and to a degree, maybe if Onyeka doing that's better, because that means Van Uwijk can get back into a position, because down that left-hand side for Saints, that they would have an opportunity to attack there. But once again, they're trying to play it from the back. That time, Coventry were really aggressive with the press, and the one that it's a throw-in, but they've won the ball high up the field, and might even be a long throw-in here from the fullback.
Yeah, that's what Van Uwijk is shaping up to launch into the area. Likes of Eccles, Sakamoto and Wright, all the likely targets. This is the latter, and Wright gets the flick on, where it might count as a shot on target at the most for Haji Wright, but there's really little that he could have done there. I think he's trying to flick it on to a teammate, but in doing so, he's just flicked it straight into the hands of Perez in the Southampton goal.
Yeah, you thought you could do a little bit better there, couldn't you? It was Eccles and Sakamoto almost ran close to the ball, didn't they? That opened up the space for Wright on his defender at the front post. Still, it's an awkward one, and I think it probably might count as a shot on target. I think you're right there, but yeah, he's quite clearly, as you say, trying to just nod it back across the face of goal, isn't he? Just doesn't get anything on it. There's no power to it as well. Look, it's one of them where, look, we're trying to create something out of nothing from a throw-in. Doesn't work, but half a chance for Coventry. Now Southampton on the ball.
Bragg will spread the ball over towards the right-hand side for Bree. Bit of space here for Matsuki. 1-2 with Azaz. Lovely play by Southampton to work it. Here is Azaz with a cross into the box. Takes a big deflection. Is that going to be kept in? No, it's going to go out for yet another corner kick. They're totting up these corners at the moment, Southampton. It might be their best route to actually opening the scoring.
100%. And as I said, with the great record they've got, and this will definitely be the third on that far side for the Saints. And Ryan Manning, as we said, he's got a great delivery, whether it's on dead ball situation like this or in play. He definitely has that. And it's another opportunity. Last time we said it was great defending from Wolfenden to just getting everyone's way almost in the best of ways, and it went out of play. But this is dangerous. You spoke about Howard, Belly, Stevens, Lauren. Another opportunity for Southampton.
Here we go, it is Manning to take this corner kick. I'm counting 6 players in Southampton black to aim for, and he's going towards Howard Bellis, who gets his head onto it. It's going to be headed away by Grimes. It looked for a brief moment it was going to nestle in the far corner, just didn't have the required pace behind it, and now's an opportunity on the counter here for Coventry City as Van Nieuwijk breaks forward. He tries to put a cross into the box, and it's the right pace at the right time for Casper Yander, who manages to get the toe in to clear it out for a corner kick, but if he's not there, it's a tap in for Haji Wright.
Yeah, it's a lovely ball, and that's a ball you've got to play. Yander does so well because you can quite clearly see I've got 2 players here, haven't I? You've got at the back sticks right running on. I want to say it was Kitching who was driving forward to centre back, and you could have played it into the front of him, but Yander still gets it, doesn't he? That's the problem. So you've got to say, right, I've got to go for my striker here, and if the ball is intercepted, the ball's intercepted. It was well defended by Yander. Coventry have got a set piece and a corner, but Southampton have got 3 players up the field, which is forcing less players for Coventry in the box.
It's a tactic that's been in the news recently to try and stop Arsenal from scoring corners and ball put into the area. Oh, and the keeper had to backtrack there to ensure it didn't nestle beneath his crossbar, and he'll bowl the ball out, and suddenly this game is really stretched. And the quick ball in towards Azaz, has he mistimed his run? He has. That will be an offside decision and a free kick for Coventry, but both sides now, they've worked each other out. They are both going for it.
Yeah, it's a good time to go for it as well, isn't it? Just over half an hour played. It's one of them, isn't it? Just under 15 minutes before half time. You've almost got that thing with the next 5-10 minutes to go. Right, let's be a bit more risky before half time. Let's maybe try and get the lead before half time. But also, you've still got the full second half to go, haven't you now? Whereas you can respond to that. You go into half time, have a team talk, change things. It's an opportunity, and now, as you say, both teams, it's open up a bit more. They're happy to make mistakes in the hope of going forward. And as you say, from a neutral point of view, hopefully we'll get a goal. Here come Coventry.
Yeah, they come forward on the left-hand side here with Eccles right in the middle and Sakamoto on the far side. He'll now have a little drop of the shoulder, still holds on to it and finds support on the left for De Silva. He digs out across towards the far side. Sakamoto's header just hits the side netting and will go and play for a goal kick. It was a difficult one for the Japanese international to try and do anything with. Again, very well defended by Manning, but Sakamoto probably the closest we've come to an opener.
Yeah, you would say so, wouldn't you? I think, as you say, he does his best to just guide it on target there. It's a little bit too far to nod it back in, so he does as well as he can, as you say. But Mason Clark, well, I want to say it was Bree who took him out before. Advantage given. If that's not a yellow card, I would be. I know he's had there's been a couple, but that has to be a yellow card. We haven't seen confirmation, so I don't think it has. But yeah, Clark really taken out there by Bree.
Oh, I'm beginning to think that maybe Farah has just left his cards in the dressing room, and maybe that's why he's not awarding any at the moment, as Finazaz does really well to get away from his marker of Matt Grimes. Now Downs will lay it back towards Bragg. Good play here by Southampton. Quick passing to make sure they get out of a sticky situation. It's going to be picked up now by the German in Casper Yander. He looks to try and get away from his marker of Eccles. Works it towards the right-hand side. Bree goes back for support in Harwood Bellis. Now with Stevens, every Southampton player inside the Coventry half, barring their goalkeeper in Peretz. Now with Manning with the ball into the box, well headed away by Wolfenden, and he's got plenty of distance on that as well. That's going to go out for a throw-in closer to the halfway line for Southampton on this near left-hand side. In terms of the options from the benches for the two sides this afternoon, for Coventry, they've got the backup keeper of Wilson. There's Bidwell, Esse, Kessler-Hayden, Latta-Baudière, Markello, Sims, Thomas Asante and Torp. And then for Southampton, they've got the backup keeper of Long, Archer, Charles, Edozie, Fellows, Onyekunle, Kwashi, Romeu and Wood, all to choose from, as a cross into the box by Finazaz is very comfortably picked up by Carl Rushworth. And he'll just bowl the ball out for Coventry to restart an attack on the left-hand side. 33.5 minutes gone in this contest. You're listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Goalless between Coventry and Southampton, and an opportunity for De Silva down the left-hand side has been blocked once again at source, this time by Bree, and that's going to be yet another corner kick, this time though for Coventry City. Yeah, and on the other side as well from what they had, and we'll have to see, as you spoke about, the tactic of pushing players out for Southampton, if they'll do that again. And as you said, it's that Coventry could sit there and go, right, we're going to really risk it, and we're going to put
you'll have 3v2, but we have an extra man in the box. It's, as you said, it's something that's very interesting to see how both teams react. They've taken it short, though.
They have, as Mason Clark will then dig out across. It's a dangerous one towards the far side, and somehow it's put wide. What a big opportunity that is for Coventry. It's a wicked delivery in by Mason Clark. Wolfenden, the man inside the 6-yard box. He meets it in a bit of an awkward angle. He's having to lean back to try and get any meaningful contact on it. He gets away from Stevens, but really he should be scoring there for me.
Oh, he should be. He's made a bit of a meal of it, hasn't he? I think maybe Stevens, to give him a bit more credit, does well to just defensively get in his way and make it awkward for him. But he almost just gets over it, doesn't he? And heads it down and not close to the corner flag, but how it rolls. He just rolls really close to the corner flag and out of play. Again, should be doing much better there. You just want to get a little flick on because you said the ball's perfect. You just need to get that little bit of a flick to make sure the goalkeeper gets his angles wrong by seeing the ball come in. It just needs the slightest of headers. Lovely playing. I think that's why Coventry took it quickly, because they almost tried to catch Southampton off guard, and I'd say that's definitely, for me, the biggest chance of the game.
You can see by his reaction after he put it wide as well how frustrated with himself he was. He knows how big of a chance that was for the Sky Blues, and he knows he should be doing better from that position as well. As Van Uwijk will bring this ball further forward now for Coventry City, going inwards for Onyeka, back into their own half now with Wolfenden. Coventry getting more and more of the ball. The Saints having to sit a bit deeper to defence against the league leaders. Kitching towards his centre-back partner of Wolfenden. The floated ball forward looks for Mason Clark. There's a collision there between the forward and Harwood Bellis. Harwood Bellis is writhing in agony inside the penalty area. He seems to have been caught in the face. Farai Halam is coming over to make sure he is going to be okay to continue. It doesn't look like the physios are required. A wry smile comes across the face of Mason Clark. Seeing a replay here. I mean, it's an arm that catches him in like the throat/neck, but there's no contact with the actual face, so Harwood Bellis is making a little bit of a meal of that.
Yeah, it really is. And again, as you say, because how he goes down, I'm thinking, has he caught a real elbow or something,
Yeah.
or poke to the eye, because he was really holding his upper face, wasn't he? And or I thought after watching a replay on the downside as Mason Clark fell on him or something like that. I'm not too sure. And yeah, again, as you say, wouldn't sit here and say it's not painful on the side of the face, but the reaction was a little bit overdue, maybe.
Southampton come forward here. They're currently a man down as Lauren is down on the deck, clutching his face now as Manning looks for some support, digs out across. That's blocked by Van Uwijk, and it'll go out of play for a throw-in. We won't be taken yet, as Lauren will require a bit of support. Well, Notts County may be down to 10 men, but that hasn't mattered for them as they're now back on level terms. As Sil Swinkle's own goal has put them back on level terms there. And looking at the replay, Lauren this time is caught in the face rather than Taylor Harwood-Bellis. But again, it's more of a stroke across the face and no like sort of poke in the eye or eye gouge. And again, they're making a bit of a meal of it.
Yeah, probably it's more he's trying to pick some out of his nose more than anything. But it's close to. Again, it's one of them. I can imagine, it might sound silly, you would feel it and go, whoa, what was that, a reaction? But to go down, it's a lot. And what it is doing is, this game was, as you said, finding some real momentum and some real tempo about it. Now after these fouls, it's really slowed it down once again, similar to the first 15-20 minutes.
There's maybe an opportunity here for the Saints as Bragg goes back towards Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Chance now for the Saints to try and come forward and get this elusive opener as Matsuki goes back towards Bree. Harwood-Bellis again will lay that back for his goalkeeper in Peretz. Coventry not pressing too high up the field, at least not with too much intent. They're happy enough for Peretz to have the ball. He'll roll it out for Bragg, who twists and turns under a little bit of pressure now from Onyeka. Eventually releases it towards the right-hand side in Bree. That's a poor pass, though. Easily cut out by Grimes. De Silva will try and roll it over towards Onyeka, who does well to win possession. And then the dummy by Eccles almost fell in the path of Mason Clark. Lovely idea that by Eccles. Just couldn't quite find Mason Clark, who I don't think was expecting it.
No, I think you're right. I think that's more the thing that I don't think it gets to Mason Clark anyway, but you're spot on. He's not expecting it. Or even if Hadji Wright would have dropped deeper to get onto it, he could have then played a ball in behind for Mason Clark. I think once Coventry get going and they do little passing sequences like that, they do look a bit of a class apart from from Southampton, but Southampton have got players who can do that. Larin tries to spread the play now, and here come the Saints.
Yes, Manning will try and beat Van Nieuwijk to it, and does. Big opportunity here for the Saints. Ryan Manning inside the area, digs out a cross, well defended by De Silva at the far post. There wasn't really enough support in the area there for Southampton. Manning did everything right, but he just wasn't helped out by his teammates. The attack is still very much on, though, for the visitors, as Bragg finds Azaz on the edge. He'll find Matsuki. He gets out of his feet, shaped up to maybe go for goal, decide against it at the last, and finds Yander. Now with Harwood Bellis towards the right-hand side in Bree. Bree gets it out of his feet, floats it into the area, turned away by Onyeka. Attack still remains, though, with Southampton. Bragg opens up in front of him, gets away from Haji Wright, finds Matsuki, goes for an awkward effort, then takes a big deflection, then off the knee of Van Nieuwijk, and eventually Carl Rushworth can finally claim the ball and breathe a heavy sigh of relief.
Yeah, that play from Manning, who said down left-hand side, takes it on his head, and it's a lovely second touch. The problem there, Larry, is he's a second too late, isn't it? Because he plays that lovely ball out to Manning, and the problem is as soon as he plays that pass, he's ball watching, isn't it? What you want him to do is play that pass, get straight into the box, and you know what, if Manning doesn't get the ball, well, you're a striker, so you're in the area, or you need Azaz or you need Matsuki to make that run so Larin can stay on the far side. You just need to play that pass and get in the box. The game was like Wrexham, it's exactly what Nathan Broad did. He played it out to the right side and he sprinted right into the box and he got a header just off target. But that's what you need to do. So Larry needs to be a bit more alert there. The ball was brilliant, he's run not so much, but again, another getting into a good area and nothing come of it for Southampton.
Big goal in the relegation battle in League One as Rotherham have taken the lead at home against Bolton Wanderers. So that means Rotherham, they remain in the relegation zone, but they leapfrog Blackpool, go into 21st and are now level on points with Wigan, who are the side above the relegation zone. In fact, they're only below on goals scored. So massive goal there in the English third tier. Opportunity now, though, for the Saints to come forward with Flynn Downs. A little bit of a drop of the shoulder, goes down, looks for a foul, isn't going to go his way. He's frustrated, barks at the referee. He's not going to get the decision going his way, though, and now Coventry will come forward again. We have about 4 minutes remaining of the mandatory 45 before we find out how much added time there will be at the end of this first half. Mason Clark does well to hold off Matsuki, lays it back to Eccles, space here for De Silva. Haji Wright wants it down the line. Here is the Coventry striker looking to get away from Harwood Bellis, gets into the area, lovely skill by Haji Wright, tries to dig out a shot, a fantastic recovery tackle by Harwood Bellis to send it out for a corner kick.
He's lovely play, as you say, from the forward, and I think that's where he's at his best, where he drifts out to that left-hand side and can almost double up with Mason Clark, and that meant he's got to run on Harwood Bellis. He twists him inside out for first, and I think he just takes a second to set himself on his left boot, which then gives Harwood Bellis the opportunity to get back. Still great attacking, still great defending, take nothing away from it, but that's the first time we've seen Haji Wright almost unleashed in a forward position, and now they've got the third corner of the game for the Sky Blues.
Sam Nombe's done it again. It's 2-0 now to Rotherham against Bolton, which means they are now out of the relegation zone as it stands. Big goal for them there as the corner kick is whipped in, knocked back by Mason Clark. Haji Wright has got his back to goal, shepherded away by Flynn Downs. Will move towards the wing as Eccles whips in a dangerous ball in. What a save! What a save that is by Peretz in the Southampton goal. It looked for all the world that header was ending up in the back of the net. I'll have to have a see in terms of who gets that touch there for Coventry. It's a wicked ball in, and I think it's Wolfenden who looks like he has scored, but that is an unbelievable save by the Saints goalkeeper.
It's a brilliant ball, it's a brilliant header, it's a better save, isn't it? That's all it is. From the defender, the ball's perfect, and he does exactly what he said earlier about the header. Just get it, just graze it almost, but the corner comes in again.
Grimes with the delivery, headed back in by Kitching, turned away by Bree. The Saints really under pressure here at the end of this half, and then it's a sloppy bit of play by Eccles. He goes down looking for a free kick. It's not going to go his way, though. Finn Azaz will hold on to the ball for Southampton. Then he has been fouled by Matt Grimes, and eventually Southampton will win the free kick, and they can look to try and clear their lines. But how on earth Coventry had not taken the lead there is beyond me.
Again, it's just I mean, I know it was taken short, but I know it was a corner that came in the play back out. I assume it would still have counted as a set-piece goal.
Yeah.
But that just shows how dangerous they are when they get the bodies in the box, how creative they are. And also the delivery there was absolutely spot on from the left-hand side. Watching the Azaz foul back. Grimes, I think it's a bit soft, but Grimes just leave a leg in for Azaz to go down, and quote-unquote buy the free kick from the referee, so we've seen them given the Eccles one. I thought Southampton thought it was a free kick because they stopped, so that's what, I don't think it was a free kick, but even, I want to say it was Bragg, even he stopped and went, oh, you haven't given it, oh, well, I'm going to continue then. So I thought that was a foul, but yeah, it's one of them, isn't it, where, as I said, great ball in, the defender does everything he can, you can't really ask more of the defender, does exactly what he wants, not too much on the header, just grazes it, he does what he wants, and Perez, he's just a world-class save, as you say.
Yeah, it's one of the best saves that you will see this weekend across any division in Europe, really, not even in England. It's a world-class save by the Southampton shot stopper as Matsuki plays that back for Yanda. Does really well to turn away from Mason Clark and eventually plays towards the right in Bree. The flick away will come in the form of Onyeka. In fact, that will go all the way back to his goalkeeper in Rushworth. Yet another goal in the EFL to tell you about, but all the goals seemingly coming in the bottom two divisions. And, well, in League Two, all the goals are coming in just one game. Chesterfield have retaken the lead away from home against Notts County to go 2-1 up. Tom Naylor getting the goal there. He was also then shown a yellow card immediately afterwards for unsportsmanlike conduct. So I wonder if that is a card for taking off his shirt, possibly, at Notts County. 1 minute shown as at a time at the end of this first half. Mason Clark digs out a cross. It's left by Eccles. The effort comes in. Oh, that was a lovely strike there by Haji Wright. It completely left the goalkeeper flat-footed. If it's on target, it's in the back of the net.
The keeper's not getting close. It's a cliche, you put two keepers in the back of the net. No one's saving that because he hits it so well. Even the keeper's just looking, isn't he, to his right hand side going, I hope that's not in the back of the net. And it's a whisker wide as well. He's sort of unfortunate because Haji Wright does everything he can. It's just a little bit behind him, isn't it? Whereas that's a little bit, and I'm talking a yard or two closer to him, he probably gets a better swing on it and a better curve on it. But still, it's a brilliant strike from the forward. And Coventry, not really a real clear one-on-one chance, but they've had the better chance of this first half.
As the flick away from that goal kick will go out for a throw-in for Southampton. Is there going to be time for it to be taken? There is not. The half-time whistle is now blown. We're going into the break. Coventry City 0, Southampton 0. And we'll see you in the second half.
Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Perez in the Saints' goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Larron, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal, Coventry would have definitely have scored one. Lovely ball in from the left-hand side from Mason Clark, and it was Liam Kitchen who rose the highest. Great header, just a better save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Their best chance fell for Laren, who put his strike wide. Coventry have been better, but it's still goalless between the two. Half-time between Coventry and Southampton, and we're currently goalless after the first half, but there was quality and chances abundant between the both sides. If it wasn't for Daniel Peretz in the Saints goal. And it's a warm welcome back to this afternoon's independent off-tube studio commentary on the action from the CBS Arena as league leaders Coventry take on playoff pushing Southampton. It's currently goalless coming into the second half, but the first half, I'm going to sound very cliche here, but it definitely wasn't a 0-0. Some exciting moments from both sides. I have to say Coventry have the better chances out of the two, especially in the last 5 or 10 minutes of that first half. Kitchen's header was saved fantastic well by Peretz. Haji Wright had a strike that was just a whisker wide. Southampton were dangerous from set pieces, but never really tested the goalkeeper in Cal Rushworth that much. They didn't even have a shot on target. I did the same in the first half. They're 3 as a total, 1 on target, whereas the Sky Blues 6 shots and that 1 on target. That was a brilliant save from Peretz. Surprise. It is one of them where how we haven't got a goal in that first half. I am quite shocked. I'll flick through the lineups in just a moment. There's no substitutions then. I'll bring my co-coms in just a moment as Ryan Manning's coming down the left-hand side. Whips a ball into the box, but it is cleared away out for a throw-in. Quickly the lineups. It's Rushworth in goal for Coventry. Van Uwijk, Wolfenden, Kitchen and De Silva as a back four. Grimes and Onyeka in the middle with Sakamoto, Eccles, Mason Clark. The supporting cast for right for the Saints as Larin's coming forward. Swings it to Matsuki. Downs back to Larin. Manning on the left-hand side, fakes it at first and then fizzes a ball in, but blocked away by Sakamoto. So for Eckert's Saints, it's Peretz in goal. Back four of Bree, Howard, Bellis, Stevens a skipper and Manning. With Downs, Younger and Bragg as the midfield three. Azaz on the left, Matsuki on the right and Larin as the lone striker for the Saints. Myself, Lewis Raftery, joined by Will Maxwell to take you through the full second half of this independent off-tube studio commentary of Coventry at home to Southampton. Manning's ball into the box is dealt with by Wolfenden, and in that first 15-20 minutes it felt like a real feeling out process. It's something to expect between these two teams, quite a tense fixture, but the back 15 minutes very open, a lot of chances, and hopefully continues that way. Well,
yeah, fingers crossed. It was a wonderful opening 45 minutes from a neutral perspective. Granted, as you say, it didn't start with a high tempo or a great deal of chances, but it finished wonderfully well, and a wonderful stop from Southampton's goalkeeper in Peretz, being the only difference maker, making sure this game remains 0-0. There's definitely going to be more chances in this second half, but again, my thoughts have not changed. I don't know who's getting the opener.
No, you're spot on. And as cliche as it sounds, goals change games, so whoever it is, I can imagine the other side will respond. Matsuki ball into box for Larin. What a save by Rushworth. It's stabbed home by Downs. Everyone looks to the linesman, but he is onside, stabs it home. Oh, we're speaking about a goal, and we've manifested the goal almost, haven't we, by speaking about it. What a ball in from Matsuki. I'm not sure whether Larin got a touch. If he does, it's saved well by Rushworth. He saves it onto the post. Downs is there. Almost a poacher's instinct of a finish. Southampton have the lead just 3 minutes into the second half. It's Coventry 0, Southampton 1.
It's the best form of commentator's curse, isn't it? When you're not sure where the goal is going to come from, and the goal immediately arrives. It's a wicked ball in by Matsuki. I don't think Larin gets a touch to it, but Rushworth has to throw his body towards his right-hand side, does well to get a fingertip to tip it onto the post. It's just so unfortunate that the rebound falls straight into the path of Flynn Downs. No one sticks with him, and he has the simplest of tap-ins. Big goal for Sondereka and his Southampton side, and it could be massive in terms of Southampton once again closing the gap on the top six. And the away side, you can't say they necessarily deserve to be ahead, because I think both these sides deserve to be on the score sheet, but it's Southampton that get the crucial lead.
Yeah, it's part of maybe for Coventry, you'll sit there with Frank Lampard and go, well, we'd rather concede that in the first 3 minutes than the last 3 minutes to go 1-0 down. They've got a long way of this second half, of course, and that goal will change the game. It's the first goal in the Championship in the early kickoffs. Middlesbrough, Bristol City and Oxford Charlton are still goalless. In League One, Lincoln are 1-0 up against Stockport, and Rotherham, massive win at the moment. They're getting 2-0 at home to Bolton. League 2 is where it's all been kicking off, really. Notts County 2, Chesterfield 2. Counted down to 10 men after myself and Will saw the replay of Oliver Norburn absolutely launching one of the Chesterfield players' boots for a second yellow card. It's Harrogate 0, Salford 0. But here at the CBS Arena, the Saints are marching into a lead. It's Coventry 0, Southampton 1. De Silva on the left-hand side, back into Eccles. You can imagine Coventry will want a response as soon as they can. De Silva's brought down. I thought the referee played advantage for a second there. Referee is Farai Hallam, but instead I think he's happy for Coventry to continue to play on. They have it on the right-hand side, but a space here. Ball into the back sticks. Eccles is there. Ooh, he tries to get it back into the box. Half a shot on target, it has to be said. It was a bit of an awkward one, it has to be said, for Eccles, and I think he's maybe taken a whack in the face for his troubles, or he might have landed a little bit awkwardly. But what an opening start to the first 5 minutes, and I think that's what you need in this 4-3-3. When you play a 4-2-3-1 like Coventry do, you have Eccles, that is your supporting player to your striker. In a 4-3-3, which Southampton are more playing with Downs, Bragg and Yander, you need kind of one of your two, whoever it is, eights to get forward and attack. That time it was Downs. as you said, it's a lovely ball from Matsuki. It's just into a dangerous area. Watching a replay back, you're not missing anything. Eccles is still down. Larin, whether he gets a touch or not, as you said, doesn't really matter. The keeper has to do something. And because Downs is making that run, well, I am assuming, for the sake of argument, his marker is on Yeka. On Yeka, he's not following him in. He follows into no man's land, pokes it home, and everyone's going, well, whose man was that? It's a great run and a great finish from Downs.
Yes, it is a fantastic bit of midfield play by Flynn Downs, just to ghost inside the penalty area, as maybe an opportunity here for Coventry with an attack of their own, but a sloppy little back heel by Eccles. Sees it picked up by Zaz, who almost set off Larin. Really nice idea, just too much on it in the end.
Have a quick look at the table as well. Points won from losing positions as well this year. Watford with a massive 26. Coventry sitting second with 19. So first of all, we're early in this second half, and a lot of opportunities for Coventry to get an equaliser. Ball into the box from Sakamoto. Jumping high there is right, but Southampton and a lot of bodies back, and it'll trickle into the arms of the goalkeeper. They need someone to press the goalkeepers. Perez is not going to pick the ball up unless he has to. Now he does. In this second half, Coventry going from right to left in the usual all sky blue. Southampton left to right in an all black kit with a bit of a red trim in this second half, and have the ball and can see the confidence that a goal does. You spoke about the table as well. Middlesbrough currently drawing with Bristol City, but Southampton are doing them a favour. Long ball fall for Larin. Larin goes down. He gives the free kick here. What's the referee's decision going to be? It's going to be a yellow card, the first one of the game. You rightfully pointed out, we thought he maybe left his cards in the dressing room in the first half. It's quite clear a yellow card, and it's a little bit clumsy, I'd have to say, from Kitchen. Larin just backs into him, initiates the contact, but then Kitchen's pulling his shirt all over the place. Larin wins it, pulls him back. I do think Larin goes down because he knows he can win a free kick, but it is a yellow card as well.
Yeah, it's a clear yellow card, because Larin could get on the end of that and get a shooting opportunity. He's been pulling Larin's arm. He doesn't relinquish the contact after the ball beats him as well. I don't think Kitchen really has too much of a leg to stand on there. Definitely a free kick in what is a really good position for Southampton to maybe find the target here. Obviously, they don't have their free kick specialist of James Ward-Prowse anymore from years gone by, so they have to see who's going to take up the mantle now.
I do remember on the opening day, as I was just about to say, Ryan Manning looks like the man to take it. He's got a world of a free kick. Wrexham, can he make it 2-0 to his side? He steps up, takes it, it's just a whisker wide. It's always curling away, but my word, from our broadcast angle, it's independent off-tube studio commentary, that looks very close.
I almost pulled a muscle in terms of how quickly I began to sit forward there. I thought that was nestling in the top corner, a whisker away, so much pace and curl behind it. In fairness, Carl Rushworth never looks like he's that fast. I think he always knows that's going wide, but still a really decent effort there by the fullback Ryan Manning.
Yeah, that's poor there from Wolford and giving it away. You can see maybe Coventry just a little bit mentally have been shook up by that goal. They don't concede. Like Rushworth, of course, has been great in terms of keeping clean sheets. The defence has been mean as well. I can't blame Rushworth at all for the goal. I thought it was maybe just a Coventry defence falling asleep for a second, but also good play from Downs, just to stab it in the back of the net, and a great run from him as well. Coventry have the ball with Wolfen then, looking to just drive into the Southampton half. Of course, as well, what as we say about Coventry, they need to maybe just be patient. There's a long time to go in this game. We've got 40 minutes plus because of stoppage time and everything else, really, from how close we get to the end of it. But again, at the top of the table, I'm sure the rest of the promotion places are happy with this result right now. Lovely ball over the top to Mason Clark. Tries to play it back to De Silva, off of the defender, out for a corner. And this is where both sides have been dangerous, but that's how maybe Coventry getting the lead, or Southampton go and get a second.
Yeah, the set pieces so far, the deliveries have been really, really good. They've always seemed to find their target. Mason Clark does everything right there in holding the ball up. He's trying to work it back to De Silva, but Matsuki knows exactly where the ball is going to try to end up, and he gets his body in front of it to have to give away this corner kick. It'll be Eccles that tries to whip in a in-swinger from this near left-hand side. There's a bit of a train at the far post, seemingly, for Coventry.
It's currently a 4v4. Mason Clark, as per usual, getting involved. It's into the front post. You might clearly see, I don't think it's a poor delivery. It's a delivery they've worked on, and just the movement isn't there. Strike outside the area from Van Hewitt. Takes a wicked deflection in the end, away from goal, off of the goal scorer Downs. Back to the corner taker Eccles, who's going to swing a ball in. Not a bad delivery. Headed well away, though, by Harwood Bellis. Still though in the feet of a Coventry player. That's a nice pass to Mason Clark into the feet of Haji Wright inside the penalty area. Tries to dink it back to his left winger, but Mason Clark, the pass into him is intercepted. De Silva swings one in, heads go up. A lot of Saints players back there in the penalty area, very awkward. It's just hooked away in the end by Harwood Bellis. Into the feet of Grimes and still coming forward. It's been quite an onslaught at the moment. De Silva, that's a decent ball in. Heads go up and it just goes wide. I believe that was Kitchen there again. He had that great header, of course, saved by Peretz in the first half. That one, a little more. The first one was excellent, really, from him as well as the cross. It's a good ball in from De Silva. Just maybe gets the jump wrong and then the header wrong also.
Yeah, I think it's one of the players you would have wanted it to fall to from a heading perspective inside the area. But again, he's just being well marshalled by Ryan Manning this time at the far post. He can't quite get his effort on target. We're seeing a change being made by Coventry. Josh Eccles, his race is right. He's been in the wars today and looks like they're going maybe with the top two. Brandon Thomas Asante enters the field.
Yeah, that was one of the substitutions coming into the game. And as you said, I don't know if that's 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes into the second half, 57 minutes on the clock. It's Coventry 0, Southampton 1 as we approach the hour mark. I'm not sure if that's a planned one or if that's an injury. Of course, at the back end of the first half, Eccles went down, didn't he, with a possible injury. He also went up for that header early on in the second half, went down, so it could be either. If we do get any information, we'll bring it to you, but I can only imagine it is a tactical one. Thomas Asante has been brilliant for the Sky Blues, but you are right, it might just be more of a 4-4-2, if you will. Good old-fashioned one with two up top. Coventry win a free kick. Sakamoto tries to take it quickly, but Farai Halam saying it's a moving ball, so has to be brought back because we're through there on the right-hand side with Van Uwijk. Of course, maybe Thomas Asante frees up a bit more space for Haji Wright, possibly inside the penalty area. He gets his first few touches, Thomas Asante. Quickly out to Sakamoto on the right-hand side. Can he find a ball into the box? He can. Cleared away well, though. Still, it'll fall. No, it won't. Larry will drop deep to win the ball. Holds it up well, but Kitchen is on his case straight away. Got to be careful on that yellow card. De Silva, is he taken down from behind there? Yes, he is by Yanda, and this will be a dangerous free kick. It's dangerous, but maybe an awkward one where it's a little bit too close to really swing it in the box, but then a little bit too far out to really say, right, let's go for goal from here.
Yeah, I don't think really it's a shooting position. I think it is a free kick as well. Yanda's appealing that he's won the ball, but he's come from behind. He's probably got more of the man than he has the ball, so I don't really understand, I should say, why he's complaining that much to Farai Halam. But we've got a free kick here, and Matt Grimes, we know he's got a decent delivery on him. I'd be surprised if he went for goal. It's definitely one he's going to have to float to the far post.
Does exactly that. Heads go up. Wolfenden's there. Goalkeeper comes out alert. Strong goalkeeping. Might even take a whack to the sternum in the process. But that's exactly what I'm sure Daniel Peretz knew he was in store for. So there'll just be a pause in play for the moment. Going up for the ball. If anything, actually, Manning just a little shove on Kitchen into his goalkeeper, and he takes one for the team almost.
Yeah, I got really confused by Ryan Manning's protestations because he sort of shoves Kitchen into the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper goes down, then Manning turns and appeals to the ref, saying that he's left an elbow on the goalkeeper, which he wouldn't have done if Manning didn't shove him into him. It's a bit of a dark arts usage there by Ryan Manning.
It was, again, it's like, well, referee, have you seen that? I didn't do anything, but he definitely fouled my player there, and it's almost I think was it Barcelona in midweek that Jon Garcia just pushed his teammate into for a foul, and then he was complaining, asking for the free kicker. Quite a similar position there. It has been all Coventry basically since Southampton took the lead just about over 10 minutes or so ago, but it is a lead they have, and they're coming forward with Matsuki. Plays it forward to Larry. That's a lovely first touch to Azaz. He's up to his right side, Yanda, into the penalty area. Goes for a strike at goal. It's straight at the goalkeeper, Rushworth. In nice area as well. It's one you'd expect him to make. But that was a lovely ball. And I was just thinking, could he have maybe hit it low driven instead? Because that's just at the goalkeeper and also a nice height for Rushworth.
I wonder if Yanda partly thought he was offside because he seemed to rush his effort a bit. I don't think he realised he had more time than he did. But I agree. I think he should be hitting that hard low across the keeper towards the far side. He goes high and towards the near post. In the end, it's a much more comfortable save than I think Carl Rushworth was expecting to have to make.
I think that's why I almost parried it, because he wasn't expecting it. He goes, oh, and I'll pick that up, and he almost went out for a corner, if anything. Coventry Coventry still have the ball. Just over an hour played at the CBS Arena. It's Coventry 0, Southampton 1, but Coventry looking few. Van Dijk to change that ball into the box and head of Haji Wright. It's a header, he rises, but straight at the goalkeeper there. I think that's one that he'll be disappointed in. It's one of them as well. I think he does everything right apart from the header, because again, the goalkeeper, it's a great save because you can only save what's put towards you. But I think if he picks out a corner, that's in the back of the net.
Yeah, it's the first meaningful chance he's had in this game. He's unmarked. He's got to be finding the corner there for me. Haji Wright, he gets his head onto it, heads it low, but it's straight at Perret, who, again, does really well to get his body behind it and make the save. He's had a wonderful game so far, as it looks like having a free kick here for Southampton after Van Dijk has caught Ryan Manning. Gives me an opportunity to give you a few more updates in terms of goals across the leagues. In League One, well, Rotherham's lead has been halved. Bolton have now made it 2-1 at Rotherham. It is Farino Joseph that has got the goal there. And we finally have a goal in another Champions League game. Not Champions League, Championship game, I should say. As Oxford United have taken the lead at home against Charlton Athletic from the penalty spot. It's Cameron Brannigan.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the stats, Middlesbrough are all over Bristol City, at least from the first half, so surprised it's 0-0 there. And of course, with Coventry losing, that's a big slip up at the moment for Middlesbrough in the chase for cementing themselves in the top two, but pushing Coventry at the back end of the season. Fortunately for Haji Wright as well, I know there's a little bit of play on after his header, but his header will be the last chance he will get. He's coming off for Ellis Sims, and I'm sure Haji Wright's a great header of the ball, I'm not saying that, but Ellis Sims will probably look at that going, if that was me, I'm burying that header. Yeah,
absolutely correct there. I think that, to me, that looks like a bit of an enforced change by Frank Lampard, because Haji Wright has gone straight down the tunnel. And looking at the replays building up to that header by the American, he's not moving that well in terms of he's keeping his arm very close to his body. He had his, I think it's his left wrist very heavily bandaged up, so I'm not sure if there's a fracture or maybe a break there that's causing him some pain, but he wasn't really moving his upper body well, so he's going to have to go off to get some more treatment by looks of things.
And it was right on the hour mark, wasn't it? So it could have been, as you say, something that, right, you've got either half an hour in the second half or you've got an hour for us, and either we'll see. Sims came out of the lineup for right, so it could have been one of them. I think you're probably spot on with that. Was an enforced change, but one that, even with how it was set up, might have even been a prepared one going into the game. They have the ball, no they don't, Yander intercepts it well, Rushford's come all the way out of his goal. I was waiting for a Marco Bizzo moment there, once again, seeing flashbacks there, but Rushworth gets it well. He was alert to the situation, it was poor play in the middle, great by Yander, nothing against the Southampton midfielder, but Rushworth came out, and that is one of them where I think if Southampton get a second, Coventry could come back and get a draw, I'm not saying that, but a 3 points would have been really hard for them to come by. Long ball forward for Sakamoto, it's headed away by Stevens. It's all Coventry, but you do feel, because they are throwing that many bodies forward, that Southampton will get a chance on a counter possibly. Sakamoto ball into the box, it's a little bit under here, might fall for Thomas Asante, no it won't, it's headed well away by Yander. Grant keeps it, and as I say, because right now Wolfenden is up as far as a midfielder. Thomas Asante tries to play a nice reverse pass there down the right hand side for Sakamoto, out of play for a Southampton goal kick. But as I say, they've got pace with Matsuki. Larin holds it up well. All it could take is one counter attack, one mistake by Coventry for Southampton to hit on the counter and get a second.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they have to be careful of. They can't afford to allow Southampton that second goal cushion, especially now that there is a goal at the Riverside, as Middlesbrough have taken the lead at home against Bristol City. It looks like the substitute, Leo Castledine, has got the goal for the host there, which means as it stands, Middlesbrough will cut the lead on league leaders Coventry to 5 points.
There was nearly a chance there for a second. Once again, Rushworth saving his side almost. Lovely ball from Manning on the left-hand side. That would have found Larin. Would have been a tap-in, but he had a one-on-one opportunity. Here comes Coventry with Mason Clark down the left-hand side. He's going to cut in on his favoured right boot. Fakes it down the left. Ball into the box, deflected away. Well defended by Briggs. That's been a great battle all afternoon. Clark's got the better of him sometimes. Briggs got the better of him sometimes. And it's one of them after the game. I think both players look good. That was a really good battle between ourselves.
Yeah, there should be a nice sort of shake of the hands there, because both have really put into a wonderful battle on that left-hand side, and it's one that I don't think either of us want to see end anytime soon. It'd be a shame if either of them have to be brought off at any point. Another corner kick now, though, for Coventry.
Grimes will take this out swinger. Eccles took the last one from this side of an in-swinger, but it'll be the skipper with an out swinger. Heads go up, right back up into the air, but Southampton will clear their lines in the end. Nodded away by Downs into a Zaz. Might be a counter-attack on here. Gets his head up, and we've been getting his head up. He almost just loses the momentum and loses the ball underneath his feet there. Does the former Borough man, and Coventry coming forward once again with Thomas Asante. Ball into the box. It's a decent one, but no one's really at the back sticks. You need seems to be our Sakamoto to be there. It's not a bad ball, but no one was there in a blue jersey to get on the end of it. 66 minutes on the clock. Coventry 0, Southampton 1. And there might be a pause in play here as Larin's gone down injured. That might be something they're preparing, because they are preparing 2 changes. The Saints in Charles coming on, as well as Cameron Archer. Bragg will be coming off, and just waiting for confirmation on the second substitute. Might be Larin, and bringing Archer on as that pacey forward to get in behind Charles for Bragg. That's a straight swap in the heart of midfield, and it will be Larin. So Larin and Bragg are off. Archer and Charles are on. Fresh legs all around, really.
Yeah, and I think they're 2 very understandable changes. Larin, he's put in a shift, but hasn't really got the better of his of the Coventry defenders so far in this game, and he seems to be carrying some form of knock as well. Bragg, he's young, he's got a good future ahead of him, but he hasn't really had the effects that maybe Southampton would have liked. And Shea Charles, we know what he can offer in the final third, and it will make things that much more awkward for Coventry in this game.
What do you say as well? Someone like Liam Kitchen on a yellow card, the pace now of Cameron Archer. You wouldn't want to face that if you're on a yellow card or anything along those lines. As well, quickly, of course, already mentioned by Will about the goal for Middlesbrough. 5 yellow cards for Bristol City as well. Wow. So I can imagine that might have been frustrating for Kim Hellberg and Middlesbrough. A lot of stopping, a lot of starts, and as you say now, Borough, with the loss for Coventry at the moment, 5 points behind the Sky Blue to take a 4-point gap above Millwall. It's really getting tight at the top, and this is massive because for everyone else, even Millwall, but trying to catch up to that top 2. If Southampton come with a result here, it's absolutely massive. As I said, Coventry haven't beaten Southampton in close to 20 years, so at the moment it's still going the way of the Saints. Yeah, they are still having things go their way for the time being. We do have another goal to tell you about in League One, and it is Stockport shining bright like a diamond as they equalise at Lincoln. Jack Diamond getting the equaliser in that contest. I like that one, Will. That was a good round of applause for that one. I wonder where you were going with that one. Jack Diamond scored. Yeah, that's fantastic, that one. Good one there. Coventry, though, they're looking to get a goal back into it. It's been all of them. Southampton, they're defending really well, so I'm not having a knock at the Saints, but it has been all Coventry. Haji Wright had that headed chance as well. They haven't come close since then, but they've had a lot of the ball to boot. Sakamoto on the right side, he cuts inside, thinks about a ball into the box, fakes it a few times and goes to Onyeka. Kitchen and Woolford, then they're halfway into the Saints half. I can imagine Rushworth, if anything, is going to rush off his line because he's that lonely, if anything, wants to get involved. Mason Clark down the left-hand side has got a 2v1, takes it past Masuki, pass down the byline against Bree, but once again, the right-back responds incredibly well, and again, it could be something as little, we've spoken about set pieces already, yes, but it could be a scrappy goal that would get Coventry back into this. I don't think they'll care if it's scrappy either as well. They just need that ball in the back of the net. They are pressing for this equaliser. At the moment, though, the Saints are holding firm. We have a 5th goal in League 2, and that's 5th goal in Nottingham. Notts County 2, Chesterfield 3. They're taking the lead again. It's Liam Mandeville. Ball into the box from the corner. It's just away from Ellie Sims there. Massive chance. That falls on his head. I'm not saying it's 1-1, but it's a big chance. And maybe a shot on target. But instead it trickles all the way out because it was a well-hit ball in from Grimes. It's a great delivery from dead ball situations. Out for a throw in Southampton. And maybe a breather as well for the Saints. But as you say, in League 2, one of our colleagues has been Howard at Salford. And I can imagine they'll be looking at the other game, as you say. 5 goals, 5-star thriller there. No goals for them. Home record in the Championship this season for Coventry. 14 wins, 3 draws and a loss. So this will be the second one in the hands of the Saints at the moment. But 70 minutes on the clock. We're halfway through the second half. 3/4 of the game done and dusted. It's independent off-tube studio commentary of this early afternoon clash in the Championship. It's Coventry 0, Southampton 1, thanks to a Flynn Downs goal in the 50th minute. Here come Coventry. I'll pass you over to Will. That's a big opportunity there after wonderful skill by Wolfenden of all people, but his cross lets him down. Sakamoto picks it up again, though, for Coventry as they try and break forward down the right-hand side. Here's Onyeka, held
held up by Charles. He in turn will have to go back towards Van Uwijk. Back now with Grimes. He gets out of his feet to find Kitching, who in turn spreads over towards the left-hand side for De Silva. Thomas Asante bundled over by Flynn Downs. He can't quite believe the decision's gone against him, but it was a clear foul by the central midfielder and obviously the goal scorer and match winner, should things remain as they stand, as Mason Clark tries to beat Jamesbury. There's a poor bit of dribbling by the winger, just had it squirm off his left boot accidentally, and that will be a goal kick for Southampton with about 19 minutes remaining of the mandatory 90 minutes. Still Coventry City 0, Southampton 1. The Saints and Coventry both have made 2 changes so far. Still options to bring off the bench should they require it, as Flynn Downs goes for an upper number to try and set off Archer. Turned away by Kitching, well won by Yanda. Opportunity maybe here for Southampton. Yanda trying to find Finn Azaz. His pass takes a big deflection though. They will get a corner kick, and it'll be interesting to see if they throw as many bodies forward as they have been.
Yeah, because it's one of them, isn't it, where with 20 minutes to go, as you say, how many bodies do you throw forward? Because you want that second, because that's a massive cushion. But do you then throw bodies forward and Coventry hit you on the counter and score? It's an equaliser. You go, we were so close. It's how you handle it, isn't it? And also how does Southampton, for the rest of this 20-25 minutes with stoppage time, give or take, handle it? Do they sit back too early? Do they not sit back early enough? Really the life of a manager, isn't it, of how you make those decisions.
So we have this corner kick for the Saints. 5 players lurking at the far post for Southampton. It is Bree's delivery. It is dangerous. It's really well gathered though by Carl Rushworth, who will be held up by Matsuki to ensure that he can't immediately roll the ball out. Then it's a cute little up and under to try and get it over Grimes, and Matsuki immediately recovers to dispossess. And in fact, Finn Azaz is going to keep this ball in play for Southampton. He'll try and hold off Kitching. He's he's got a hold of his shirt there. Both Kitching and Azaz eventually goes down, isn't going to win the free kick, but Azaz will get in front of De Silva, and that will be a throw-in for Southampton on this near right-hand side. Azaz throwing his body at both De Silva and Kitching and doing really well to ensure that his side keep hold of possession.
I'm surprised at the almost suplex from Azaz. I'm surprised that wasn't a foul, because he does just almost throw him as a Coventry defender, but he does incredibly well, as you say, to keep the ball in play first and foremost, and when he's started throwing, and they're going to come forward from it.
Really well played by Archer to hold on to the ball, but eventually loses out to Onyeka, and then he tries to dribble out. It's poor play there by Frank Onyeka. Yanda gets a strike away. Did well to get at half a yard of space. He looks like there's the offside flag up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. But Yanda won't care. He'll probably be a little bit annoyed that he didn't at the very least hit the target from that position. But it's a let-off for Coventry. They've taken the free kick quickly. They need to get a move on time of the essence. And, well, they're not really creating too many clear-cut opportunities. What needs to change for Frank Lampard's men? Is it a change of personnel or change of tactics?
I'm not too sure, because if we're being honest, they haven't played badly, have they? It's just Southampton got a goal, and it was a good piece of play. And it's almost, because it was so early on, you sit there, the game never sat into a second-half rhythm, did it? It was Southampton have scored, and for now 25 minutes or so, they've had the lead. So Coventry, I don't think have played bad. It's just they haven't played better than Southampton. It sounds very simple, but that's what it is. You brought Thomas Asante on, Ramon Esse. He's a young player, but he's an electric winger to bring on. You've probably got as well your best players on the field to a degree, so maybe Frank Lampard's looking like, right lads, I need you to perform now. Mason
Clark digs off across. It's dangerous. It's just over the head of Sims. Turned away by Manning. Yanda will beat Van Uwijk to the ball. In fact, he's going to get brought back for a free kick. Van Uwijk just barging in to the German. He protests his innocence, but again, I don't think he's got a leg to stand on. He is just a little bit late to the party and clashes into the German.
Yeah, you're right. It's one of them where you can see the jump a mile away, can't you, that he's going to lose the header. So then it looks a lot more forceful of a jump, doesn't it? Yanda gets there, then Van Uwijk's always jumping for it a little bit more, a little bit higher. It's really simple from Van Uwijk. I think Southampton, they could have had the advantage, and I think they were thinking, oh, could you let us play on? But also, they're probably at the same time to know, let's have a few seconds, get some more breath in the lungs, let's get on the ball and ensure this one the leader a little bit more. You can see some of the Coventry fans, they're not happy. Again, I don't think they've been bad. It's just, again, Southampton got that goal, and Again, you'll look back to the chance from Kitchen in the first half, but if that goes in, it's just a great save from Perez. They're 1-0 up going into half-time, and it's just one of them. Coventry, though, with how good they've been this year, they can maybe afford one, maybe two slip-ups at the top of the league.
Now, with Mason Clark bringing this ball further forward, his pass is well intercepted by Charles. Azaz will set off Archer. Maybe an opportunity here for Southampton. Has Yander to his left, will utilise the German. Back now it goes to Cameron Archer on the left-hand side. Looking to thread it in for Charles, who digs out a cross. He was looking for Finn Azaz. In the end, it's turned away by Grimes. It'll fall to Matsuki, who goes for goal. Never got his foot around it. Always going wide of the mark, but another really good opportunity there for the Saints that goes begging.
It's a great play down the left-hand side of Charles. It's just a little bit off going to Azaz, isn't it? If that's on the money for the Saints number 10, that is 2-0, but it's just unfortunate the ball isn't at his feet, really. I don't know if Charles can get his head up a little bit earlier and have a look. I'm not too sure. But what I will say, the subs are working wonders as well for Southampton. How many times do you see subs come on and not work, and if anything worse in the performance? These subs have come on and have been excellent for Southampton.
They have been very dominant so far. We're now seeing a change for Coventry. It's a double change, in fact. Sakamoto, his race is now run. He is going to come off for Essa, and it's Victor Torp that's going to replace Onyeka as well. Thoughts on those changes, Lewis Raftery?
I mean, Essa coming on, for me, that's more pace than Sakamoto, and Torp coming on, that's more of an attacker. I think it'll be more Grimes is your holder. Torp is going to get forward, isn't he? He's more of a box-to-box attacking midfielder than you would see Onyeka is. Onyeka is more of that defensive midfielder with Grimes, who duo as 2-6s. Thomas Asante has been very close to Sims since coming on. He not dropped back to a degree, but he might drop back so Torp gets so one goes, one stays. He's more attacking. I like it from Frank Lampard. I like to see a bit of Essay, what he's all about. As I said, from the little I saw of him at Millwall before he joined Palace, that's a bit of an awkward one for Rushworth. He was so pacey, so lively. Sakamoto is a more technical player, yes, but pace-wise, Essay, he will make it awkward in the late stages for Ryan Mann, who's already had 78 minutes of football in his legs.
Well, Torp's first touch has seen him lose out to Charles, and now an opportunity for Azaz to come forward, but really well intercepted and tracked back by Van Uwijk, and Essa does well to initially get away from Manning. Manning recovers to make the tackle. It will fall back, though, for Coventry City, and now Grimes will lay it towards the left-hand side for De Silva. Bit of space here for Mason Clark. Doesn't have much in the way of options. Has to go towards the left-hand side again for De Silva. Mason Clark, Torp wants it on the left. Here is Victor Torp. Only Sims to aim for in the middle. Digs out across. It's not a good delivery, though. Really easily gathered by Daniel Peretz. Sims, since coming onto the field of play, just hasn't had the required impact.
No, I do feel for him a little bit, and because at least Haji Wright is a forward, he drops a little bit deep. He goes to the left and the right. He's happy to get on the ball and dribble with it, isn't he? Sims is a classic number 9. He's going to be that poach. He's great at holding up, but as you say, if you don't give him service, he looks very isolated, does Sims, and nothing's fallen for him. And that ball, as you say, from top, even if Sims gets that, he's so flat and floated. He's fighting with 2 or 3 Southampton players. It needs to be whipped in with pace, doesn't it, for anything to happen to it? So, look, Sims could have nothing, and then in the last touch of the game he scores. That's the kind of striker he is. But as you say, if things continue, it's only going to become more frustrating for the Coventry number 9.
Here's De Silva getting away from his marker of Matsuki. Now towards the right-hand side in Wolfenden. Ball over the top looking for Ellis Sims. Comfortably nodded down by Jack Stevens. Peretz with a heavy touch that almost fell kindly to Sims. That's turned away eventually, though, by Jack Stevens. Wolfenden does well to force the ball forward for Thomas Asante, but it's going to be brought back here. A high boot by Wolfenden has adjudged to have been a foul, and we're also seeing him go into the yellow card. And that's now both of Coventry centre-backs shown a yellow.
Yeah, that'll be a worry, because you don't want to... They've got one change left to Coventry and one block to make it. Watch him back here with headed by Wolfenden, and then he catches him on the shoulder. I do feel for him a little bit because he's got eyes on the ball. He just catch him. I'm not saying it's not, but they are always ones that I do feel a little bit for. It's only the second yellow card of the season for the Coventry centre back. But you're right, when you've got both centre backs on a yellow card, Frank Lampard, you're thinking, I don't want to take a centre back off because I want attacking offensive changes. But now they're both on it. You might have to just say, right, I'm going to take one Latabodiere, bring him on, because that takes one yellow-carded player off the field, or move a midfielder on for them and move Matt Grimes back as your centre-back, and that might be the way forward, because both of them on yellow cards is quite dangerous with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, they can't afford to go down to 10 men as well. We'll have to see if both Kitching and Wolverhampton can keep their composure for the remainder of this contest. We've got about 10 minutes remaining of the mandatory 90 before we find out how much added time for stoppages there will be, as the crossfield pass will look for Roman Essa. It is headed away by Manning, picked up by Torp. Back it goes for Wolfenden. Looks like the assistant for Southampton in Joe Edwards has been shown a yellow card as well for something he wasn't happy with, or probably said to the fourth official. Thomas Asante bundled over by Flynn Downs. A third foul he's given away now, Flynn Downs, so I think that might be his final warning, just for an accumulation, as Mason Clark has De Silva to his right, won't utilise him, goes towards Matt Grimes, trying to get away from Azaz. Lovely tackle back there by the Southampton number 10, and now a chance for the Saints to come forward, and, well, Cameron Archer has pace, not that amount of pace though, is always going to be second best to Kitching there. He's also held out by the recovering Wolfenden. Coventry throwing players forward, but that final ball is letting them down. They're unable to really test Perrotts on a regular basis at the moment.
It really is. That's what they've been lacking all game, really. Then that ball forward for Sims just sums it up, doesn't it? It's a poor pass from De Silva back to Archer as well there. If he's going to boot it long, you need to boot it long down the byline, don't you? Because as you've pointed out correctly, you're booting it into Wolfenden. Even if you beat Kitchen, the other centre-back's going to come across and help him out anyway. If you boot it down the byline, you can put pressure on them as well. But you're right, the crosses have been poor. You can point out to one cross Van Nieuwijk onto Hadji Wright's head, can't you? And you say, yes, from Van Nieuwijk's point of view, I did that, my job there. The rest of the cross has been pretty poor, but you can also say, yeah, but maybe he should have scored. It's one of them, isn't it? But the rest of the deliveries, yeah, they need to have been better. The Saints have been much better in that area of the fields.
It is the Saints in possession at the moment, as Azaz eventually loses out to the retreating Roman Esse. Matsuki's pass in is blocked by Mason Clark, who on the slide finds De Silva. Now with Victor Torp to try and bring the ball further forward for Coventry City. Finds Mason Clark, he does well to utilise his strength to get away from both Bree and Matsuki. Needs a bit of support, eventually goes short and backwards towards Thomas Asante. Now with Wolfenden as to the right in Van Nieuwijk. Van Nieuwijk's cross is blocked. It's going to be turned away by Stevens. Van Nieuwijk on the retreat, on the slide, misses it, and just about wins it off of Cameron Archer, but then forces it straight into the chest of Roman Esse, and now here comes Shay Charles. Laying it towards the right-hand side in Matsuki. Charles needs a bit of support, goes back towards Bree. All about game management now from Southampton. Nothing silly, just hold on to possession. Keep Coventry stretched and frustrated, and they should be home and dry.
100%. And I'm not going to sit here and say for the 7 minutes of the 90 in stoppage times we want to keep the ball right. If you said to them, you're going to keep the ball for 10 minutes, they would be over the moon with that, because that'll see them out. They know they've got to defend well, but that's why I give credit to Southampton. They've defended really well when they've had to. Here comes Azaz.
Azaz inside the area, gets away from Kitching. Needs a bit of support, goes towards the byline, digs out across, it takes a deflection off of Wolfenden, and that will be a corner kick, and it will waste some more valuable seconds off the clock.
This is even later on, and you spoke about maybe 10 minutes ago or so of how many bodies you throw forward. Now it is, what do you throw forward? Do you take it short? Not hold it up in the corner, but take it short and continue just to play it around. Do you swing a ball into the box? Because again, as you said earlier, they're great from set pieces, so it is an awkward. If you were terrible from set piece, right, we're not swinging one in here. When you're really good at them, makes it a little bit more awkward, doesn't it? Because if they go grab a second, that's game done and dusted.
I'll wait this corner kick to be taken. Stevens, Azaz, Downs, Howard-Bellis, Matsuki and Archer all in the area for Southampton, as well as Ryan Manning. The ball is whipped into the area. It's not cleared away, and it's ended up in the back of the net, and that might be game, set and match. I'm not sure how Matsuki has put the ball across the line. I'm not sure how much he actually knew about it, but plenty of Coventry defenders missed the header. It hits the Southampton forward, and agonisingly for Rushworth in the Coventry goal, he sees it go past him and trickle over the line. 2-0 to the Saints.
Third league goal of the season for the Japanese winger. And as you say, you spoke about a scrappy goal for Coventry. They won't care to make it 1-1. Same for Southampton to make it 2-0. There's just a melee of bodies, isn't there? It's a great delivery in there at the front post. Comes off someone. It's just Matsuki's right leg is there. it hits his right leg and it goes in. Does it come off? I don't think it comes off anyone, actually. I think it just falls perfectly on the right boot. I'm not sure who took the corner for Southampton, but I'm sure they're saying, I meant that to go right on your right boot. That was a brilliant cross. Again, scrappy, not the greatest of goals. You won't care in games like this, as you said earlier. You just want to come away with all 3 points. And I think on paper as well, 1-0's great away, 2-0 away at home from Coventry. That's a spectacular result, spectacular 3 points. And what you also do is, I know no one's catching Coventry in goal difference, but you just take 2 goals away from them as well, which you never know could be massive at the end of the season.
It really could be big. I mean, based on the loosest definition, that is technically a volley scored by Mandzukic. I'm sure he might score better volleys in his career, as was a foul by Ramanese on Ryan Manning on the left-hand side. And I think there's some Coventry players just beginning to get more and more frustrated with how things are going in this game. Now every game in the EFL has got a goal, as Ellis Sims actually been shown a yellow card for that foul. As I mentioned, every EFL game now has a goal, as Salford have just taken the lead away from home at Harrogate in League 2. It is Udo that has got the goal there for the visitors. We might also have another goal in League 1 between Lincoln and Stockport later on. We'll wait to see if that is the case. Look at the replay there. Ellis Sims does clearly catch Ryan Manning in the face with a forearm. Rather naughty there by the Coventry striker. His first yellow card of the season. Really has not had the greatest impact since coming on to the field of play. He's got 10 goals this season so far in the Championship. Ranks him 3rd among the Sky Blues, behind Haji Wright and Brandon Thomas Asante. Hasn't been the free scoring form that we're used to seeing him in Coventry Blue. As Breeze pass is cut out by Grimes, it's a lovely turn by Thomas Asante, who then is tackled wonderfully well by the Japanese midfielder Kiryu Matsuki. Archer can't keep the ball in play. That will be a throw-in for Coventry on this near right-hand side. About 2.5 minutes remain of this contest. You're listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. It is Coventry City 0, Southampton 2 as it currently stands. Now in possession here is De Silva. Over towards Wolfenden. A goal before the 90. Who knows? We might be in for an entertaining end to the contest. Asante stops it from going out for a goal kick, but can't find a man in sky blue. But the rebound will find Mason Clark, who's body off the ball by Charles, still holds on to possession. It's really scrappy in the middle, but somehow Mason Clark comes away with it, and eventually he gets hauled down by Charles. That is absolutely brilliant forward play there by the Coventry number 10.
Yeah, Sid just not giving up as well, and I think that's something as well that we can appreciate watching. Imagine as a fan watching or in the stadium, you're 2-0 down, you want your players to not give up, do you? Just keep pushing. Mason Clark could have just been frustrated and just left the ball, or kicked an opponent and I've had enough of this game, I want to come off, or anything like that, whereas he's won his side a free kick in a dangerous area. He did well to come away with it as well. He's up for the fight as per usual anyway. Looks like Top's the only one over it here. It's a good place as well in the terms of hitting it with the right foot and trying to curl it. It's an opportunity for the man who came on as a substitute in the second half to perhaps whip a ball in or score direct from this free kick.
It is Victor Torp. It looks like he will go for goal. It's a poor effort though in the end by the midfielder. He gets the pace and power, but the moment it goes towards the left of the wall, you know it is going wide of the mark. It's a really poor effort.
Yeah, he needs to get it to the other side of the wall, as you say, and try and get. That's where you get the whip on it, isn't it? If I'm honest, if I'm Mason Clark, I'm probably having a little bit of a side eye at him, going, I did all that work to win the free kick, and you've just wasted the opportunity. Look, if you even get a save out of the keeper, you put a ball in the box, that's completely different to putting it completely wide. Seeing those travelling Saints fans, they will absolutely adore their trip home. Can imagine it was an early doors to get up and get to the CBS Arena. Well worth the travel. But it's a big 3 points, isn't it? But look as well, let's see, stoppage time. If you see 5 or 6 minutes go up, Coventry might get a boost. If you see maybe 4, that's where they go, right, we can't get 2 goals in that, so we also have to see how much stoppage time we give them.
Yeah, and we've got about 20 seconds before we find out how much at a time there will be. Van Nieuwijk will hope that his long throw into the area will bring a sign of life for the Sky Blues. It is Van Nieuwijk that launches it towards a penalty spot. It'll lose a few players. Will it fall to a man in sky blue? Eventually it falls to Shade Charles. Oh, that's a really sloppy bit of play by Victor Torp. He's gone down. I thought it was a dive, but in fact it's going to be a penalty. Shade Charles can't quite believe it. Torp has been caught, and maybe there is still life in the league leaders.
I mean, as you said, I'm not sure from the first off, and we're still waiting for stoppage time, because I can imagine they'll wait for this penalty decision to be how long it takes and who's going to step up and take it. This will be a better replay back. Charles is trying to stop it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good decision. I will say that's one that when we're watching from a broadcast angle, you can't see because the legs are tangled. It's not malicious, but it's a stamp on the right Achilles, if you will, the right foot of Top. The 7 minutes. This is so important. Whoever steps up and takes this, maybe Sims, maybe Thomas Asante, maybe Mason Clark, I'm not sure. No, out of my free choice, I'm wrong. It's going to be the man who won the penalty, Victor Torp. If he scores this, you've got 7 minutes on the clock. That we're probably going to go over with this penalty as well. What an ending we could be in for. Or Peretz has already made a world-class save. He's been given a yellow card as well. Could he come up trumps for the Saints for a second time this afternoon?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Massive, massive moment in this contest. Will it be Coventry to half the deficit and give them a bit of time to go for an equaliser? They will happily take a point from this position now if they score. It's Victor Torp. It's into the back of the net, the bottom right-hand corner. A torpedo from the Danish midfielder, and we are now Coventry 1, Southampton 2.
What a penalty that is, all right into the bottom corner. He passes it in, but with power, with purpose and with pace. It's a great penalty. Peretz as well goes the right way. There's nothing the goalkeeper can do about that. He goes as early as really he can. It's just a great penalty from Top. 7 minutes of stoppage time, but we're closing on hitting 2 minutes of it. So we might be pushing 100 minutes here. I mean, we was hoping for a grandstand finish, as you said, and I think that's exactly what we're going to get.
Oh yeah, the fans be right behind them now. They need Coventry to press forward. Frank Lampard needs his side to pull out one more moment of magic. Wolfenden and Kitching combine to try and bring the ball further up the field. He goes towards De Silva. Matsuki presses high. It's going to be crossed over towards Wolfenden, who will bring the ball further up the field. He floats it towards the left-hand side, looking for Mason Clark. That's going to be comfortably headed away by Bree. Charles loses out. Mason Clark, he's won the free kick, and Bree is down on the deck, holding his head. And we are going to get a free kick here, though, for Coventry in another potentially decent crossing position.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. And Grimes, how many good deliveries he's put into the box. It could all just take one, couldn't it? Just a quick update. What a goal at the back end of the Championship. Charlton, I believe, from a penalty have equalised against Oxford. All that hard work for a massive 3 point. Like I said, Leicester, West Brom and Colby breathing a sigh of relief. Still time to go there. Borough are still 1-0 up, but you can see, as you said, the fans are right behind Coventry with this free kick.
Grimes towards the far post. It's headed up and away by Harwood Bellis. It will fall to Esse. Has support in Van Nieuwijk behind. Instead, he goes towards the right-hand side. His cross takes a big deflection. Is there a push in the area? Notices the referee. Ellis Sims tries to make himself a nuisance. Eventually, that is turned away by Stevens. The ball not fully cleared, though. Headed up and away again by Charles. Esse tries to knock it down. Torp gets a toe to it. Further out by Finn Azaz. It's Rushworth on the halfway line now for Coventry. He goes towards the left-hand side for Kitching. Towards the left for De Silva. Trying to take it down the wing. Held up by Cameron Archer. He will find Matt Grimes. He tries to thread it in towards Mason Clark, who holds off Bree. Gets towards the byline. Mason Clark does well to get it onto his right. Decent ball in. The flick on the far post by Wolfenden. Doesn't find a man in sky blue. That goes out for a goal kick.
You used to think, is that momentum done and dusted? How is Southampton trying to play this? 4 minutes of stoppage time have been played. Again, it's one of them where we're saying we know we're going to get 3 minutes. It's after we've played 7. All eyes on Farai Halamix. Does he give an extra 30 seconds? Is it pushing 3 or 4 minutes? I covered the game at St James's Park between Manchester United and Newcastle a good few weeks ago. There was, I think it was 3 minutes of stoppage time. We approached 10 because of what was given. But all your eyes are on the referee of after 7 minutes of how long are you going to give? Wood's about to come on. Southampton haven't made the change, and if Coventry come and score before the ball goes out of play, they'll be looking back at that with an opportunity.
As Ellis Sims has run in front of Mason Clark to try and get on the end of it, and it almost fell kind to Esse. His air shot is turned away, falls to Thomas Asante. Attack still on here for Coventry. Thomas Asante tries to get a strike. There's a big deflection, and Perez does really well to get down low to his left-hand side, make the save, and hold on to it. That deflection could have taken it anywhere.
That's as soon as he takes that deflection, you're looking going, where is that going to go? The reactions from the goalkeeper, goalkeeper. You've got to be confident as well. He might have committed all the way to the right-hand side. He didn't. There was good goalkeeping. Well, there's late drama everywhere, apparently, in the Championship. Bristol City have got a goal at the Riverside. So as well, Coventry will now be thinking, pushing for a draw, yes, but also with Bury not picking up all 3 points, unless they turn it around as well, get back to 2-1, doesn't feel as much of a blow at the moment.
No, not at all. Goals from Darikwa and Lloyd late on have meant that Lincoln have beaten Stockport by 3-1. That is the first full-time whistle blown in the EFL early kickoffs. We're now seeing this change being made by Southampton. Wood is on to the field of play. It looks like Nathan Wood is going to replace Kiryu Matsuki, so surely that is very a defensive change.
Yeah, you'd imagine that's just everyone back at a bit more height as well. Watching his goal back, as you said, it is going to go down as a volley, and it's going to go down as a very high XG, I can imagine, as well. But by hook or crook, that could be all 3 points after that goal for Matsuki.
As you mentioned, Bristol City are on level terms at the Riverside late on. That goal scored in the 96th minute by Adam Randall. There's still at least 1 more minute of added time in our game. They need to get this ball forward, Coventry, as Kitching launches it towards Ellis Sims, will look to knock it down for De Silva. Goes back to the striker. Sims towards Grimes. He threads it in for De Silva. De Silva to Mason Clark. Can he get a cross in? Mason Clark into the area top towards Thomas Asante. Forces Esse. His effort is blocked. The effort comes in again by Thomas Asante. And it's straight down the throat of Daniel Perrett. Anywhere else that ends up in the back of the net. But it's straight down the middle. And it's saved by the Israeli.
It was a pinball machine. Was the football in the box there, wasn't it? Top couldn't cleanly connect. Esse's shot. Maybe a better opportunity, but blocked away. Asante's, as you say, if that's a right or left, that's 2-2. Coventry still coming forward.
Howard Bellis will head the ball away. Nathan Wood gets a toe to it to send it out for a throw-in. De Silva will be the man that comes over to the take this time of the essence. Salford have beaten Harrogate by 1-0 in League Two. That's the second full-time score to let you know about. We have passed the 7 minutes minimum allotted of added time. The throw-in has seen Coventry go backwards. Kitching now launches it forward, looking for Rahman Esse. It's gone over his head, and that's going to go out for a throw-in for Southampton on the far side, and that could be massive. Ryan Manning's going to go over and take this throw in. He looks like he might be pulling up with a bit of cramp as well. Bristol City have drawn at Middlesbrough. It has finished 1-1 at the Riverside, which means at worst for Coventry, the gap between them and Middlesbrough will be cut by just a singular point. They would hope, though, that it doesn't go that way as Flynn Downs launches that ball away from danger. That's going to go out for a throw-in. Rushworth takes it quickly to find Kitching. He'll go back towards Rushworth. Is there time for one final attack for Coventry City? Grimes launches this ball forward. It won't find Sims. It's headed up and away by Nathan Wood. Knocked down by Van Uwijk. Has Esse fouled Shea Charles? He has. That'll be a free kick. Surely that is that, Lewis Raftery.
I can imagine the referee lets the goalkeeper come up and take this, boot it long. That's the end of the game. I mean, as we said, the first 20 minutes of this game with that feeling out process, but ever since it kicked on, as you said, he's continued to go onwards and onwards. And as you say, yeah, Coventry don't want to drop any points at all. But after that late goal from Bristol City, it's only a point dropped, isn't it? And it's a tough game in Southampton. I know it's at home and you want to win, but it's a tough game regardless. It won't be as much as a hurt, but what a game this has been.
Yeah, and the final whistle has now been blown. It is a massive 3 points for Southampton against Coventry. They lose at home to the Saints. The final score is Coventry City 1, Southampton 2. And we'll see you in the next one.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting